Hello all! Welcome to another episode of Cooking with Heather. I'm going to be making a Christmas cookie dough cake. Now the fun part is, I haven't ever done this before, so we're going to have some real fun with it. And thus we need a recipe, since this is all new. And we have a recipe for the cookie dough. 350. Heat the oven to 350 and we'll bake it. So there's the oven preheated. And our pan all washed out. The pan's all scrubbed out, so we'll just give it a rinse. Just because this is not for me, but for others. So we want a good pan. Alright, so here we go. We're going to start with the basic recipe for cookie dough. And make sure the camera is running so everything can be seen. We're going to start with a very basic recipe for cookie dough, and we're going to look. I saved it on my phone because you know what, it's just easier. Okay, so we need 2 cups of butter softened. We have all the ingredients here, and we're going to shed some light. Alright, so 2 cups of butter softened, and this butter is purely for baking because honestly it just is. So we have a dry measuring cup and a wet measuring cup right here. So what we're going to do, see, what did it say? 2.5 cups of butter. So this whole thing filled with butter. This whole thing filled with butter, and it's very old, so excuse the mess if there is a mess. Okay, so we're going to get a spoon. We're going to get a spoon. Do you see the spoon? And I've moved the ingredients so that you can actually see what I'm doing step by step. And the butter is so we're going to pack her in there. As you can see, it's a little easier to get in. That's because the butter's partially thawed, because I had it out for a little bit. It makes it easier to bake with. And it's not a bad thing. And because of waste, we're going to get a knife. Because you see, the butter sticks to the spoon. And we're not going to waste anything because food is expensive. There we go, that's full. Set that aside. Actually, we need the bigger spoon still. To unload the measuring cup. And yes, I do use measuring cups when I bake most times. The one time I baked and I used kitchen things, just basic kitchen things and guessed measurements, I didn't have any money for those things, but I got money. Through saving and diligent saving and everything else, I managed to get some money. And since our hands are clean, we can just help it out a bit. We can also help this out, because it'll just slide off our fingers if we have to get our hand all the way in there just to get the butter out. That's okay, because we don't want to miss any. Because butter in its own right is expensive and we really don't want to miss any. Let's wash our hands of the butter using some warm water because it'll come off. And it's good that we clean our hands just because, you know, they do need a wash and we need to get the butter off because we may need this again. So we're just going to do a quick rinse. There we go. We'll just stick that in there for now. So we need it again. So the butter's there. We can put it in behind here because we don't really need it again. In behind the camera because we don't want to stare at butter for 2 hours or however long this takes. Anyway, now we need sugar, which we have. And we're going to use the dry end of this right now. We're going to use the dry end. 2 cups of sugar. So basically this whole thing is 2 cups. And this, you know, this little 2-in-1 measuring just makes for easier baking. Because honestly, it's very difficult sometimes to get a hold of proper measuring tools because that's what they're always changing. And that is 2 cups. Put this back until we need it. And now that the sugar is completely done, well, it's not. But that equals 2 cups, so that's fine. We're going to throw the bag away because I don't like to leave garbage out when I'm cooking. And we'll rinse this out again because we will need it again. We will definitely need it again. Alright, so got a little bit of sugar on the phone, which is not good. But, oh well, the phone gets some love. Alright, so the next thing we need are 2 large eggs. And you know the fun thing about being in this area, we can get eggs from the Hutterites, and the Hutterites have the absolute best eggs. And so we need a thing for the eggs. The Hutterites have big eggs and it's just amazing. They're way bigger than they are in stores. But I think I have store-bought ones today. But you know, that's okay. These eggs actually came from some dear friends of mine who I go to church with. And I didn't have any money for eggs, and because I don't get paid for a couple more days. And I said what I wanted to do with the eggs, and they're like, oh, we'll help you out. So thank you to my friends for loaning me some eggs. Because believe it or not, eggs are incredibly expensive in the store. I don't know if you've looked at the price of eggs lately, but they're expensive. Alright, so here's the next one. 1/4 cup of milk. Now here's the thing, I have a dairy allergy that can get quite bad if I drink milk and eat regular cheese. So here's the thing, I don't have regular milk in my house. So what we're gonna do, and hopefully this doesn't change the chemistry too much, what we're gonna do is we're going to use chocolate almond milk. Or actually no, chocolate soy milk, excuse me. It's healthy, it's safe, and we're going to give it a shake before we use it. So 1/4 cup of that. Quarter cup. And you're saying that this won't make a lot, you're probably saying this won't make a lot of cookie dough, but you know what? It will. And you're saying, oh, this will change the chemistry of it, but you know what? We don't know that. Cooking is an art and a science, and you know what? Almond milk is very cheap and I can afford it, so I'm going to have it. I'm happy to have it. Alright, so 2 teaspoons vanilla extract. Look at my pretty measuring spoons. 2 teaspoons. Now this is a teaspoon. And I've got a huge collection of vanilla extract, and I gotta have a snip of it to make sure it's good, and it's good. There's 1, 2. Alright, that's in. And you may ask, why do you use a recipe to make things? Well, you know what? All good chefs use recipes, and you know what? If you don't have a recipe, you're just making a mess. Even Gordon Ramsay uses recipes, and I'm sure he's not ashamed to use them. I asked him once about his recipes, like if he uses them, because I had a debate with my little brother about it. And he never answered, so that's too bad. I would have loved to hear his answer. Alright, 7.5 to 8 cups of the flour. Well, we've got flour right here. And we've got our little measuring thing, and this has 2 cups. So 2 times 4 is 8. So we're just going to fill this thing 4 times. There's 2 cups. And some flour got on the counter, so we're going to try and salvage that. Baking is such a messy business. This is why I don't do it often. I'll just wipe it off. Baking is really such a messy business. It really is. I don't do it often, and I've really never done it for Christmas, but I'm getting older, and my health isn't as good as it should be, and it got me thinking about the type of legacy I want to leave behind someday when I'm old. And I want people to remember me as someone who gives, and is kind, and is generous. and someone who wasn't afraid to make people smile, to help people smile. So there's 4. There's 6. And it says we can go 7.5, so I think we'll do that. There's 7.5. I still got a little bit of flour. Oh my goodness. And there's stuff all over the counter. Whew. I think we'll just scrape that in, because I don't want to waste. Is just, it's a mess. Oh well. We'll clean up as we go, just because I don't want flour crap on my counter. There, we don't want that crap all over the counter, making life difficult. Alright, so I think we're done with those. We can put those away. We can wipe off the rest of the flour. Alright, we can actually relax a little bit now. Alright, now we're going to put in the baking powder. Actually, we do need the teaspoon thing again. So we need to rinse it out. And baking powder, we have baking powder right here. So how many? And this is a gift for other people, so we need to make sure we follow it to the letter, or as close as we can. Alright, so there's 4 teaspoons baking powder. Now for the salt, where'd it go? We have a sea salt, and we don't need very much of that. So we need a teaspoon of that. Rinse it out, give it a good dry. Here we go. That's all. Now we mix it. Now we mix it, and I have several mixing spoons here, but I'm going to use my white one just because it's long. And you know what? I don't have a mixer. They're expensive. They're expensive and they're quite messy. And in case you're having a problem, just dollop a bit of almond milk in there. Just a few dollops. It loosens. Oh, it's never good at stirring in a pot. I have a small, very small mixer that probably wouldn't do this very much good. Ugh. I need a good mixer. That would save me a lot of time and a lot of grief. Excuse the mess. And you know, even if you're still having a bit of trouble with things, put a tad of water in as well, just to thicken the mixture. It makes it more like dough. Because, you know, I get these basic recipes for cookie doughs online. Not all of them are up to scratch. It's quite sad. But, you know, you do your best. A little more ought to do it. We don't want to make it too wet. There, it's starting to look like cookie dough now. It just needed a little help. Basically, you can do a fold stir, or a fold stir is probably best, but be sure to scrape the side of the bowl. I mean, if you don't have a lot of money and you're stuck with hand mixing, be sure to take breaks. Alright, and now, just because it's Christmas, we're going to have a little bit of fun and add a little cocoa powder. Make it a tiny bit chocolatey. Gonna stir that in and make it nice. Use the same method. Because you know what, stirring can be very hard. I empathize with the chefs who cook and they don't have a lot of money. All right. Use the fold method if you're not sure. Okay, we're gonna add little treats now. We're going to add some chocolates. I've got some Christmas Smarties, some Rosebuds, and some Salties. Because this is a Christmas thing. And you know, handfuls are best. Handfuls are absolutely best. The dough is still a tiny bit stiff. And it's hard on the arms, so we're just going to dollop a couple of drops of water in there. We're just going to load it with Christmas love. We're just going to load it. There we go. We're just going to load it up with some serious Christmas loving. Scrape the bowl to make sure none's left behind. Gonna give it a little more. Just load it with some Christmas loving. Oh yeah, just load it with love. There we go. And now we're going to put some margarine. Where did I put it? Back in the fridge. We're going to grease the pan with margarine. Because we're about ready to put this in the oven. Alright, and greasing this with margarine will ensure, we just need a little tiny bit, will ensure that this will not stick to the pan. Alright, we throw this away because we don't need a mess. We move the margarine out of the way. Move the cookies and the things out of the way. Oh. Clean up in a little bit. And so we load this up. Ooh. Just going to be this epic Christmas thing. It's going to be like this awesome cake. Make sure it's even across the way. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. You want to see that? All right. And now we're going to move this out of the way. I'm going to clean the bottom of it because it did get a bit dirty. There, now we're going to put it in the oven for it to bake. And I'll get back to you when it comes out. Alright, we're back. The cookies are ready to come out of the oven because are the cakes ready to come out of the oven because I've been checking it. And we're gonna take it out. Have a look. There we go. Should we have a look? Let's turn the oven off so we don't roast. Let's have a look. Merry Christmas indeed. Isn't that epic? That is way epic for something I've actually never made before. Anyway, we're going to get a quick photo of it for the fans who just are eager to see the finished product right away. So we'll just do that. We'll just put that over there. All right, time for the exciting part. We're gonna cut it. Do you want to see it being cut? Okay, we'll let you see it being cut. And they're really fluffy too, so we're not gonna do much with it right now. Because they have to be cooled. They have to be cooled in the fridge. They're so hot. All right. That's all done. But you know what? We are going to have a taste from the pan if we can get some out of this. There we go. We'll just keep it on the counter because the counter's actually clean. No, I'm kidding. We'll get a plate. We'll get a plate for this cute little piece of Christmas cake. And we'll do a tasting. Because people have been mad at me lately. In my last couple episodes, I didn't do a tasting. So we're going to do a tasting of this Christmas cake. Mm. 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 Oh my goodness. And I'm going to eat the entire piece on camera. Mm. 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 Oh yes. Mm. That is actually really good. This is Cooking with Heather. Merry Christmas. Remember the reason for the season. And we'll just close on a shot of the rest of the Christmas cookie dough cake.